Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Ananda Rose. Thank you for joining me today. And I am here today with the lovely Freya Cartwright. Welcome, Freya.
Welcome. Thank you for having me here.
You're very welcome indeed. I'm glad that we found the time to get together today. We almost didn't, right, with all the internet issues we're having. And we were reminded Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
Well, friends, Freya Cartwright is a tree communicator. Did I say that right? I turned
Yes.
my page, so I hope I said the right words. A
Yes.
tree communicator.
Communicator. Yeah.
A tree communicator. And today you're going to tell us what that means. However, before we go to that question and you answer it, I think it's very apt for us to do a karakia. We like karakia on the channel, and so I'd love to do a karakia. So, everyone, Freya is going to talk to us about Tree Communicator and also about Buy New Zealand Made. Right, those are the two things. I just wanted you to know that in advance. So do stay tuned. All right, we're just going to take a moment to bring in the energies and our teams of light because this is divine orchestration, right? So I encourage everyone watching to join us for our karakia. Take a moment to breathe. Keep your feet firmly planted on the ground. And I feel like we're at the time of the day when a nice, cool, calming essence of the selenite crystal is something for us to just focus on, bringing ourselves together, coming into this moment, taking a moment to breathe. Welcoming your team of light, Freya Cartwright. Tia kari kai huru rasa huru na tfarkushkbaintefo. Yermakutu no tu farahawane te faranahawe te tutu rahamahaite forana. Welcoming the teams of light of Rose and Freya. Kormehesh nakata tate. Ora makaita forana wa kutururu stekte va hurule mekete to forona kutufahai. Thanking you for this moment, for this time. Yurone chichibahi and nachile chana yunun chilana in elation nawakata. Taking a moment to breathe. O salamahawi no tiki rana kito forana hawete lamashto rana hawete. Haramakete farana hawete te tatakuru mahawete te farana hawete kavarna sora mahaitfene. Nerana hirana tirana makoto to korhayest. How do you feel, Freya? Do you want to say something, do something? I just was prompted to ask that question.
Yes. Karakia, um, a prayer, is something that whenever I go into a forest, and it's a permission, it's asking permission. So, because we're going to talk about the trees, I'm asking permission from the trees to talk about the trees today with you all, with Rose. Aere bohia marhia hamia hi ki ba maki ki ko hi he kahai ko I a mahi o kaya I. Ooh, hermana. Just asking permission that we walk amongst the trees as we talk about them today. Just respecting them, holding reverence for their mighty good that they do for this planet and the love that they share with us and the community that they bring us with the mycelium and the roots. So we're thanking the trees today for being with us today. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, thank you. That was just awesome. I could see myself in the forest and all the leaves just, blowing in the wind, gentle
Yeah.
breeze. Mm. Wow, that was lovely. Thank you. I so appreciate that.
Thank you.
Freya, tree communicator. What does that mean?
Well, what it basically means is that when you connect with the tree energy, once you walk into the forest, there are so many trees to look at, but often one particular tree may call you over. And when you touch the tree or are near it and its tree energy, and all trees have amazing energy and auras and chakra systems. And when you connect with that energy of the tree, surrounding the tree, on the tree, and still your mind of any chatter, outside sounds, just acknowledging those sounds and sending them back off into the ethers. When you still your mind, and that's we still voice in your mind, you can communicate with the tree. I've communicated with many trees that have told me stories. They've told me many tragic stories, some of them, happy stories, ancient stories, and I've communicated with trees around the world. And these trees on our planet are sacred keepers of the knowledge, and they have so much knowledge that they pass around within their tree communities to keep the knowledge alive on our planet. And we're just remembering this now. It's not a new thing. It's not something invented or new. This is an ancient knowledge that has been handed down through the ages. But there was much of a time on our planet where it got eradicated. This knowledge was eradicated from, and I'm saying people were eradicated. People that were tree communicators, the druids, the herbalists,
Mm.
the
Okay.
knowledge keepers were eradicated from this planet to wipe out that knowledge, that communication. But it's coming back to us, and more people are listening to the trees again. And it's just beautiful. And they're so
Mm.
pure, so pure.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. Freya, how did you know that you could communicate with trees? How did that happen? How did you come into that space of, oh, I'm a tree communicator?
Well, that's a long story. It probably began when I was a child. I grew up in rural New Zealand on a farm, mostly playing outside on the grass, in the paddocks, up the trees, down the trees, in the ponds, in the rivers. And trees have always called me, whether we were building things inside the trees, tree huts, planting trees, building bivouacs or little tree huts, using tree ferns and manuka, the New Zealand tea tree. Just using these trees as places to call home, really. And
Mm.
we had lots of huts everywhere. And my father was a woodsman. His father before him was a woodsman. And many generations before that were people of the land that worked with wood. And when I smell wood, when I come up to a tree and or I have held a piece of wood in my hand, I smell that wood, but I remember where it came from. And it's like a cellular memory of that wood. So the trees have been calling me all my life. I formerly trained as a horticulturist. There was no other option for me in my heart. I wanted to work with plants. And I come from a long line of plants people and farmers. And I've worked with plants all my life. I've planted trees, I've cut down trees, asked permission to cut them down.
Yeah, yeah.
Not many, but work with a lot of trees to nurture them, nurture
Yeah,
their existence on this planet. And the calling to work with the trees in a deeper way through their knowledge keeping, keepers of the sacred knowledge of the trees, has been a calling in the last probably 4 years, and it's been building
okay.
and building, and it was almost like I could not ignore it anymore. it kept on knocking on my tree door, and I could not ignore it, and I had to keep going with it
Wow.
and furthering my knowledge. And part of it is science-based from a horticultural background, and part of it is learnt knowledge and ancient knowledge that I'm
Hmm.
remembering. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's just awesome.
Thank you.
So before the last 4 years, you were doing other energy work, right? You did other things,
Mm.
energy stuff. And
Yeah.
so we were talking about this earlier because it was one of the things I from your interview with Kirsty I heard was that you worked as a Reiki master,
Reiki
right?
master. Yeah.
And so but that's very helpful. Reiki is very helpful because there's a lot of for a lot of people it's a platform to other things.
Mm.
It's like that jumping off point to more of the energy or esoteric. So you were doing that, and now you've moved into this tree communicator role. Do you do this all the time?
At the moment, all of my emphasis is on tree communication. Yeah. And tree energy work. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
How do you do your work?
Good question. At present, I am running a course, a 6 week course on tree energy and how it communicates with us. Um, and each week is a different C, the letter C. So
Okay,
it's very interesting. So I'm talking about. Do you want me to just give you a brief outline?
sure, sure.
Okay. So the basics of the course is all about energy and how that energy of the trees affect us. So the first course, part of the course is about the connection of the tree to us as a human and how
Mm-hmm.
we connect in the most amazing ways through our cellular level. Trees have 13 strands of DNA, we have 12.
Okay, wow. Yeah.
They have cells, nuclei, we have that too. There are so many parallels between the trees and us. Their mycelium network, how they communicate, and they communicate with other trees, just like we communicate.
Mm.
And then I talk about clearing, and I talk about clearing our field so that we can be more open with the trees. And then I go on to talk about chakra. So trees also have chakras
No
and
doubt.
auras. Yeah, yeah. And then I go on to channeling source consciousness through the trees
Wow.
as a conduit. And before time, before man came to this planet, there were trees. They were here first. And there were ent trees. They actually walked and roamed the earth.
That's right. And they
And there
spoke
still
Intich.
are. The pandana tree, it still walks. It's an amazing tree.
Where's the pandana tree?
It is in Asia.
Okay, wow, I've not heard of
And
it,
it
but
has these long aerial roots and it still
eh,
moves.
oh wow.
Mm.
Go the pandana tree.
Yeah, it's incredible. And then from source consciousness, channeling source consciousness, and we move on to circumference. So I talk about the circle. A circle is a never ending entity, it's infinity.
Yeah,
And how trees are not square, they're circles.
they
And
are.
how that cells and everything is all in the circular motion. So then I go on to circulation as the last one, and circulation encompasses our circulation and their circulation and how they circulate as a community with us and in symbiosis with each other. Yeah, so that's just a really brief outline. There's a lot of meat in that course. And the other
Yeah, I can
thing,
tell.
yeah, and the other thing I do is I do what some people call Sharon Yoku, forest bathing. But I like to call it my own brand, I guess you'd say, is feet on the ground. So I
Okay.
call it forest energy immersion therapy. So immersion because when a seed lands on the forest floor and it germinates and it grows its first little cotyledons, it's immersing out of the soil towards the light. So a seed needs light to bring it up out of the soil. So it's immersion. So it's immersing with the light. So
Hmm.
forest energy immersion therapy, feet on the ground. That came to me in a big download in 2023, and I've been slowly working away, percolating this the whole time. So this weekend I am presenting at a festival in the North Island of New Zealand, and I'm leading people. So I love to lead people into the forest.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah,
Just
um,
connecting with the nature and the
yeah,
forest floor and the trees
yeah,
and the roots and
yeah, yeah.
wow.
And it's so important
Mm,
this day and age, especially.
yeah.
Mm.
So you run workshops and you also have these events that you present at and you take people through that process, that journey, and it's part of the process of them connecting to the earth, connecting to the trees, having learning more about what the trees are here for, what they're doing for us, how we can then have a relationship with them. Because
Yes.
they're living beings, aren't they? Like everything. I mean, everything's alive, I
Mm.
think. It's just even if you have if something that's been like a chair has been made, it's made with wood.
Mm.
Wood comes from a living thing, and the chair has a life of its own. You know how the people you say that without even thinking about it, right?
Mm. Mm.
Everything's alive, and
Everything's
everything,
alive. Yeah.
yeah, and
We're all
everything's
molecules.
relative, yeah, relative and relevant here on this planet in this time and
Mm.
space for us to be open to seeing more
Yeah.
and experiencing more and understanding it better and what the purpose is of that in our lives, right?
Mm.
So, why is tree communication so important for us? Important, right, in this time and space?
The most important thing a tree can do for us is give us oxygen. We can't live
Yes.
on this planet, and the animals, the insects, the birds, everything, even the fish in the ocean, they need oxygen.
Hmm.
We need the trees.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why my course is called Trees for Life. They are our life, and we cannot survive without the trees. And every day, thousands of hectares or acres are cut down on our planet.
Very sad.
Indigenous forests, especially around the Amazon and Malaysia and different places, to grow for horticulture. To feed, of course, we need food to feed the planet, and to extract palm oil. So, trees in New Zealand, we're very, very fortunate to be covered in many, many trees. New Zealand was fully forested, mostly fully forested, probably 90% of it when before man came here. And we've cut down a lot for agriculture and horticulture, mainly
Mm.
agriculture. But we still have enough to sustain our fresh, clean air in New Zealand, which is really important. But another thing we need the trees for is grounding. Without going into nature, our bodies can be severely depleted of the basic grounding. So, just like a house needs to be grounded for electrical purposes, our cars are grounded with the rubber
Yeah.
tyres.
Yeah.
We wear gumboots in the paddocks when we touch an
Okay.
electric fence so we don't get a shock.
Yes.
Grounding is not just for those reasons. Grounding is to level us at a place of homeostasis. So our body, our cells can relax and just find that equilibrium within ourselves so that we're not all flighting or fright of flight or flitting here, flitting there, and anxiety.
Mm.
But it also helps with our moods
Yeah.
and being around plants, nature, trees
Yeah.
can level our moods. And it
Mm.
increases, and then this is, this has all been scientifically proved that it can increase your endorphins, the feel good factor. So the trees are a multifaceted entity in our life. There's so
Yeah.
many reasons why. People that live in cities with just concrete, high rise apartments, high rise office blocks, they go on the tube or the taxis, they never touch the ground, the
Yes.
green grass,
Yeah.
go into the parks. Some of them don't even have parks anymore.
Mm. Mm.
And people often become a bit despondent, and they've called it sad disease because they just don't have enough, um, the nature pill, the green pill
Yes.
as they
Yeah.
call it, which a
Yeah.
lot of doctors now prescribe to people in towns and cities. So yeah, it's very, very
Mm.
important that we connect in nature.
Yes, I agree. I'm so for the trees myself. I have to say, because I heard in recent times, maybe five over the last 5, 10 years, trees actually transmute our emotions. Because if you're stressed out or anything like that, you just walk through the trees,
Yeah,
and they are here to just
yeah,
transmute that, to release. We release it, they
yeah,
take it over, they
yeah.
transmute it, dissolve it, right? That
Mm.
kind of thing. And so
The
we sort
compost.
of, yeah, we need that. We need that
Mm.
communication. And yet,
Mm.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going down on this earth that is not great, right? But then there's a lot of stuff that is.
Mm.
And I just feel like with the trees, we've got to be like someone said, the best way is if you have to cut down a tree, plant a tree.
Yes. Yeah, plant 10. Cut down one, plant 10.
Yes. And so that way you're sort of creating balance. You're
Mm.
restoring the balance because sometimes you have no choice but to cut down a tree based on what is happening with that tree, where it's located,
Yes.
all of that.
Yes, exactly.
But always remember to turn back and say, okay, right, I took that action. What am I going to do now to make sure that we have balance? Because bringing balance back
Mm.
is better. Once again, giving the tree an opportunity to live, put a new tree in the ground.
Mm.
I have a tree I speak to on Stockade Hill where I live, close to where I live. It actually called to me, and it's told me a few things that are happening inside it. And there's actually an elf community doing work there. Uh, Stockade Hill is where the Fencibles are honored here locally, and all the Fencibles from this area, their names are on the obelisk. Um, However, those souls want to be free. They don't want a
Mm.
continuous resurrecting of them. And I know that like saying what I just said now, a lot of people could be really, pissed off at me because how dare you, Rose? This is our history. This is be honoring those that have gone before us to protect us, to fight for us. I honor them too.
Mm. Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
when my guidance was, after speaking to the tree, my guidance was that these people no longer want that.
Yeah.
And
No.
that's a big thing. That's saying no longer, we need to start looking at, as a community, we need to start looking at no longer having all the stuff that goes on for Anzac Day because it's resurrecting a horrible
Yes.
time.
Yes. Yes. It's dragging up the past all the time. I
Yes.
totally agree. I mean,
And those souls and beings want to move forward. They don't want to stay stuck in there.
no.
But that came through a tree. That didn't
Yes.
come through just
Absolutely.
anyone.
Absolutely. I mean, I've connected with trees over in Sherwood Forest in the
Wow.
UK.
Yeah.
Mainly the major oak, which is slowly dying, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
connecting with trees like that, but also when I connect with stones as well. So stones are ancient knowledge keepers as well. So when I was in Avebury, which is near Stonehenge, um, I connected with the stones there, and the vibration of those stones was amazing. It was just
Wow.
so strong, and the whole place was like vibrating and resonating, and it was incredible. It was like you're in this surreal world. And in the group in the middle, there is 5 copper beeches, and all their roots are all intertwined with each other, like holding hands.
Wow.
It's so beautiful. It's amazing. And
Hmm.
I sat with one of the trees in meditation, and I put my back to it, and I just felt into it, and it was telling me how that copper beech was telling me how they hold space in the centre of Avebury, of the Stonehenge in Avebury, and how at one time when all the trees were burnt on the planet Earth in the Great Fire, the knowledge that the trees had was sent to the stones because they couldn't be
Ah,
burnt. And they were the knowledge keepers and the holders for the trees. And then when the trees started to grow up and were big enough to um, restore that knowledge, they were given the knowledge back. So there is communication between the stones and the trees. And it, and
yes.
it also qualified that when I was at near Taupo, the Kaimanawa Wall, before I went to the UK, and I connected with the wall, and the knowledge was also so profound there. We actually heard the noise of the stones there.
Wow.
It was just resonating at such a high level. It was incredible.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's just so much to unpack.
There's a lot to unpack. And I've heard because in recent times, I've also, I've heard somebody talk about stones. And I did an interview with a friend who had a communication with a stone, sat on a rock and had this communication in Big Bend, I think, or Mount Shasta Forest,
Mm,
one of the two. And the stone told the story of the stone and what stones prefer. Like they also prefer that we leave them alone and not move them
mm. Yes, yes,
because
yes.
because they have
Yeah,
their own thing happening there. They're divine orchestration
yeah,
too in those places that they are in. And so I come back from Castle Hill in November, and we'd gone to Birdling's Flat because
yes.
I had to go there because there was a portal coming in from the cosmos that I needed to. It was just I'd been given that for months, and then I went there, and of course there was a portal.
Yeah.
But when we got to the beach itself, Kirsty, Ayana, and I were lying on the beach. We're
Yes.
lying on these flat stones, right? It was felt like you're getting a stone massage. So beautiful. And you could just like, I was so glad I was with them because it
Yeah.
was such a crazy thing to do, but it was such an awesome thing to do,
Yeah.
right? And if you had somebody there saying, "Oh, don't do that," you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, like no, I can't, I
Yeah.
shouldn't do that." But I brought some of these stones back, but I've come to realize since then that I need to return them.
Mm.
It would be
Yeah.
better for them to just go back to where they've come from.
Mm.
And recently, somebody gave me a gift of a bottle of stones. And yesterday, I, I opened it and I decided that I was going to put the stones back into the sea because this person wanted to do a nice thing for me because a lot of us are into crystals, and she thought, oh, these stones, she found them, they've got crystals in them, like they've got clear quartz in them and stuff. But I don't need more crystals. And I also don't want to take the stones away from where
No.
they are naturally meant to
Mm.
be.
Yeah.
That was interesting how the
Mm.
stones can have a conversation and they can also say, hey, you know what? I'm very happy where I am. I'm actually here because I'm meant to be here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
this is my
I know.
space. Thank
I
you.
agree.
Leave me here,
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah. I'm a bit of a
Yeah.
stone botherer myself, um and a bit of a stone magpie, but I don't take them anymore because there's a whole ecosystem underneath that stone, and that
That's right.
stone's there for a reason. Yeah, yeah. There's
Yeah,
lots of
wonderful.
wonderful stone stories.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure. You've got to listen to the one that Claire and I did. Claire Johnson, my
Mm.
friend. I don't know if you watched that
I
Stone
will. Yeah.
about the story of Mr. Stone. I interviewed her and she was telling us the story of Mr. Stone. It's really beautiful. So, So we know that we know the trees help us. They're here to help us. They are doing what they're doing, and we are awakening to that
Mm.
realization of their purpose in our lives. They're not just here for the scientific reason of oxygen. They're not just here to provide shade. They're not just here to be chopped down and made into other things. They're not just here to be firewood, all of that. They have greater purpose than just those practical things. And thank the universe, we've all are on the awakening journey, and many of us are here where you are, seeing that purpose that the trees have life. They're here to help us. So you would have loved the Two Towers of the Lord of the Rings trilogy,
Yeah,
Jen.
yeah.
I was just fascinated because I was watching it and thinking, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. It's true. I couldn't not be enamored with it because I
Oh,
absolutely loved the Ents. They were
yes.
so
I
amazing.
was
They
up
like,
there in the trees with the Ents.
and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to go with the Ent. Like, I'm
Yeah,
afraid of
yeah.
heights, but I'm sure this Ent will make sure I
Oh,
don't fall down or anything like that. And also they spoke Entage,
mm,
and it's like, okay,
yes,
they spoke Entage.
yes.
And do you speak Entage? Is that a weird question to ask you?
I don't know what I speak. I've been speaking light language or whatever you call it, whatever language it is. I'm sure I do. I'm not
I
sure
think you
what.
might very well do.
Yeah, yeah. All sorts of language comes out. I've been speaking
Yeah,
it from a young age.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was
So
shut down like many of us were, told to be quiet. You're talking gobbledygook. That a lot of children that we see coming through now are already speaking it.
exactly.
Mm,
Speaking their light language, in the very early months of their life, even being born, and you can hear the light language coming out of them. It's pretty awesome. Um, I ask that because when I speak to my tree on Stockade Hill, I have a different language
yeah.
from
Yeah.
other languages. And
Mm,
I've had trees call me to them. And like I remember this one weeping willow in Buckland's Beach, walking the dog, and there's like all along the street, there's weeping willows, and but there's this one at the very top of the hill. I can just feel all this energy coming from it to me as I go walk under it. And then I thought, this tree is really trying to communicate with me. And it's as simple as that, right? Because when I communicated with that tree, I wasn't, I was awakened, but I wasn't awakened to the point as I am now, to the level that I am now.
yeah.
I did believe that trees have their energies, but I didn't, that I was sensitive to the fact that I could feel this energy from that tree
Mm,
was really interesting because I think the tree awakened me more to I can do this with you, and I'm here. And I just stand there like a crazy lady and hug the tree because I don't know what else to do with it. And people driving past must think, what's wrong with that bird? But
I don't care now.
no, I don't. Even the tree on Stockade Hill, I just like
Yeah.
go around it 3 times, hug it, and say, I'm sorry, I didn't talk for a while, or I haven't come up there. And then I've noticed the one next to it is prompting conversation. Like, because it's the third tree down from the top
Mm,
on the right hand side, and the second one is now prompting conversation. And so we'll have the conversation because maybe it has some
yeah.
things to say,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that is
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've driven along the road and it was in the King Country in New Zealand, and I said to my friend Ayana, I've got to stop the car. I've got to go and talk to that tree. And they call me even while I'm driving. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, screech to a halt. And I had to go and clear somebody from that tree.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's good because it's good for the person and good for the tree.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure they don't. What do you think trees? I'll ask the question. I won't make an assumption. What do you think trees feel about people hanging from a tree?
Not very good. That's
Okay.
I've cleared a couple of trees for that reason. Um, it's a burden that they carry and they want to release. And I guess the energy reaction, the symbiotic relationship between us humans and the trees, we're able to help them get over that threshold to release that spirit from the tree. It is a very real
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it
I
is.
wept
It
and
is.
wept and wept, and I couldn't leave there until that entity had gone. So yeah, it's very important. And um, a recent happening near Orewa, and a young person was they ended their life, but not from hanging from a tree, but in the forest.
Okay.
And I was called to clear there too, but I had to go back twice, which was really interesting. The first time wasn't enough, and then I was called back to go again a month later. And people have said to us, it feels so different in there now. It feels lighter because people
Yeah,
weren't
shame.
walking in there. Yeah, so
Shame.
there is a presence, all energy.
Mm,
It's energy, stuck energy.
yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I guess we're just holding hands with the trees. I like to liken it as we're holding our branch hands together because I feel like we're standing trees.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I
Yeah.
understand. So awesome. So awesome.
Mm,
Have you been a tree in a lifetime?
most likely.
Good. Yeah. I think most people that communicate with trees and really it becomes part of their life. They've been elementals, they've
Mm,
been trees. I mean,
yes.
we all have been this at some point or the other. And I
Yeah.
feel that this is my feeling. I feel that in this time now, when certain things we focus on, like in your case, you focus on the trees. I have other people that work with the elementals. There's other
Yes.
people, that are working with plants
Mm,
and plant music, for example.
mm,
And I feel like that is fulfilling a purpose because, to convince people that trees are alive and or plants have music, it's out of the box, so to speak of.
yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
and so I feel like some people have come here, particularly that's the mission. And you
Yeah.
probably agree with that because of what your
Mm,
work is at the moment, right?
mm.
So I really, yeah, I that's what I feel.
It's a calling.
It's a calling.
And
It
they
has to
call
be.
us.
That's right. That's
Mm,
right. And my friend, last night I was in a meeting where I was doing my workshop because I'm running a 12-week workshop at the moment. And one of our friends, really resonates with plants and trees and all of that. And I had a couple of years ago, I had a Zoom meeting with her, and then I have this Whispers of Healing Oracle card deck by Angela Hartfield. And then I was tuning in for her, and a picture, one of the cards that flew out has got a tree in it. And the tree is reaching down towards a little boy, but the tree is my friend's face.
wow.
And it's like, it's full of kindness, full
Mm,
of
mm.
gentle, loving calmness and wisdom and just
Beautiful.
giving something to a little boy. And we just talked about that last night in my workshop. So I think that the more we tune into the trees, I think this is necessary at this time. It's part of the awakening
Mm,
process that we're
definitely.
on. Yeah. Yeah. So is there anything else you want to tell us before we talk about New Zealand Made?
Um, just to open yourself up to the energy of the trees. Um, when you come near a park or a forest, before you go into the forest, just feel back and just feel the energy because the energy is so potent and so strong. Just open yourself up to that energy of the forest, and then ask for permission of the trees and the plants to go into that forest. It's very important to ask permission. It's just as we cut um, plants, we ask permission before we cut. And we ask permission of the forest fairies as well, the
Mm,
Patupaieri, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
and all the elves and the gnomes and all the other
yeah. So,
spiritual elements of the forest. Yeah.
Mm.
Just yeah, open yourself up.
Yeah.
Open your mind, body and spirit and your energy up to the forest.
Nice. I love that. What's Payeri?
Patu Paeri are the forest
Pa
fairies. Yeah.
okay, Patu Payeri. Is that
Yeah.
how you say it in Te
Yeah.
Reo?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I might
Okay.
have that slightly wrong. Yeah.
Well, good try though,
Thank
because it
you.
sounds
Yeah.
wonderful. So they are the forest fairies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah. And they've been there before time
Yeah, of
as
course.
well. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, just opening yourself up. Just have an open mind.
I love that. That's pretty special.
Mm. Yeah.
So, one of the things that I noticed on your on Facebook, because we're Facebook friends,
Mm.
I noticed that you were supporting something called Buy NZ Made. What is
Mm.
that?
So it is a organisation in New Zealand, and it's been going for, gosh, many years. I don't know. I remember it when I was a young kid, actually, to encourage us to buy New Zealand products first and foremost before we buy from overseas.
Yeah.
So it's a form of sustainability, I suppose you'd call it.
Yeah.
So I believe in sustainable practices. Um, I, I grew up in rural New Zealand where we had a massive vegetable garden, probably a quarter of an acre of vegetable garden. We had 2.5 acres of fruit trees. We grew everything we needed to eat. And
Right.
we had a farm, so we had our own animals in the freezer. And my mother would preserve everything, including her own spaghetti
Wow.
and sauces and jams and pickled onions and you name it, whatever she grew it, she preserved it. And we all got roped into that process. So we'd have a day of peeling pickled onions, little shallots, and crying our eyes out. We'd have um, our snorkel mask on to stop crying. And then the next day or the next few weeks, we might be doing peaches and cutting up peaches, and then you end up with all this tannin on your hands and things like that.
Yes, yes.
So it was a family affair, family process, and in the laundry there'll be shelves full of all these preserves. So we lived on that. The only thing my mother would ever buy would be baked beans, which were New Zealand made, and the only thing that wasn't was pineapple, which I think came from Australia. So everything else was New Zealand made in our household. She'd sew her own clothes, knit her clothes, all sorts. So we didn't really want for much from the shops apart from flour, sugar, salt, things like that. And that's how my father was brought up with 14 children in the New Zealand bush. And my nana, she grew everything. They had 3 orchards, as probably 3 or 4 vegetable gardens dotted around the farm, and they just grew everything. And the only thing they'd go to town for would be the staple things like sugar, salt, flour, things like that they couldn't produce in New Zealand. And it was how we were brought up. It was normal. But nowadays, in the society, we can just type out something on some website in the middle of the world somewhere offshore and buy things and have it delivered in a few days,
Hmm.
even a few
Yep.
days now, so quick. Um, and it's easy. It's so easy. It's simplistic. But is it right for us? Probably not,
Yeah,
because
good
we're
question.
spending too much money. So I don't buy anything from those sources. I try and buy from reuse reusable shops, what we call opportunity shops in New Zealand. Some places they
Yeah.
call them tip shops, um,
Or secondhand shops.
secondhand shops.
Yeah.
I like to reuse, repurpose, and recycle. So I take clothes. In fact, when I was in Europe last year, I dropped off quite a few clothes or just left them in the hotel and put on donate,
Okay, good.
and I left clothes behind. So, as much as possible, I buy secondhand because of that, and also, we're using up the world's resources to make these clothes.
This
So
is
the
true.
more that we can buy secondhand, the
Yeah.
more we're not tapping into those resources more and more and more. Um, and the other thing is that I'm really passionate about is buying and eating seasonally.
Yes.
I grew up eating from our um, garden to our table seasonally. We ate seasonally. And there's something about that, and there's a lot of talk about that with our gut biome now that we're not eating seasonally.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Yes.
eating, we can have plums in the middle of our New Zealand winter that come from offshore.
From California or
Yeah,
somewhere.
somewhere offshore. Yeah. We can have guavas, tropical guavas from offshore. We can have all these wonderful things, which is nice. But do we need to eat it? Do we need to buy it?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need to ask ourselves, do we need to eat that? Is our gut
Yeah.
biome saying, well, actually, my gut biome likes the seasons. It wants to follow the seasons.
Yeah. This is why we
And
live where we live. And we have
yeah,
winter when we have it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and this is why we have winter, spring, summer, autumn,
Yeah.
why we have seasons. And sometimes our body needs a rest from that type of food or fruit. But it's also a consumer world we live in. But we don't have to buy into that, excuse the pun, buy into that consumer world.
No, we can
We,
become self-sufficient,
yeah,
like
yeah,
plant an organic garden or,
exactly,
plant your own
exactly.
vegetables
Yeah,
and live like that. And it's
yeah.
becoming, I mean, we've just had now in the last 3 weeks now announcement of another war. And then within a few days, the price of petrol's,
Oh,
you know, gone
yeah,
up.
yeah,
Something that I noticed this yesterday, something that I usually pay $3.80 for is now gone to $3.90. Yes, it's 10 cents, but what was the projector of that 10 cents increase?
yeah.
And it's crazy because we live fast-paced lives. People are working, there's rush, all of that.
Mm,
Trying to find convenient ways to live in so that we can feed everybody and make everybody happy and do all the things that needs to be done so that we can show up for the boss on time, do
yeah,
all that stuff. And there's nothing
yes,
wrong with work,
yes,
but the
exactly.
point is, what is it doing to our lives? We don't,
Yeah,
it's a trap really at the end of the
it
day, that
is.
whole system.
It is a cyclic thing, and um, it can be a trap. But when we had the big shutdown,
Yes.
what did we do? We grew plants. We grew vegetables. We made sourdough bread
Yes, indeed.
because we had time. We made time. So it's about saying no to some things and yes to some things. And
That's right.
the no's might be things that you don't actually need to do. You don't need to go to the the next concert from whoever or this show. You could stay home and get your feet and your hands in the dirt and grow something.
Oh, I can hear teenagers saying, "What is wrong with you, lady?" That's if teenagers watch the show. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
What?
Oh,
You're trying to spoil my fun. What's wrong with you?
oh
But
no. Get me onto composting and worms. I love it.
but I think there's something very rewarding to see something you've
Yes,
planted come to that
absolutely.
fruition,
Yeah,
and then you
yeah,
picking it yourself,
yeah,
and it's like, oh my gosh, I planted this myself.
yeah.
This is what, and by the way, I just want to say, I have pineapple plants. Just
Yay!
by the way, I have pineapple plants. I
Yay!
got my pineapple plant in 2021 from Subtropica,
Yep.
and and now my pineapple's given me one fruit because it's a bit of a slow coach.
Yeah.
However, it's given me many pups. And
Yay!
what I've done in this last 12 months is I have parted with the pups to other people, and then the pups have been having pups. And long may they continue because we can grow pineapple in New Zealand.
Yeah, we never used to be able to, but we can now.
We can grow it now.
Wonder why.
And I wonder why. And then, somebody said this story to me, which I thought was crazy. They were told you can never plant bananas. In New Zealand, this is an island, for goodness sake, people. You're making me laugh now. When and what's happened is
Yeah.
there's been a banana revolution
Yes. Yeah.
in
Yeah. We're a
Auckland of
banana
all.
republic.
We're a banana republic. Let's say it because Auckland has got so many people, so many
Yeah.
gardens with grottos of banana
Yeah.
trees, and
Yeah.
they're eating of the tree and stuff like that. And I want to say to everybody in New Zealand, please keep going, experiment with
Yes.
what you can
Yes.
plant.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because even if you have too much to eat, there's
Yeah.
the freezer. You can preserve, but there's your neighbor
Give
as
it
well.
away. Yeah.
Exactly, share it with the community because they'll share it with you. I
Mm.
do jams and preserves,
Yeah.
and I only use local produce.
Yes.
I pick it up from people's gardens all around
Yeah.
here. One of the amazing things I made last year was orange marmalade. And the best thing about that orange was it comes from my neighbor across the
Yeah.
road, their orange tree. Like,
Mm.
we can do this.
Mm. It's made with love.
Exactly,
Mm.
exactly. And it's made in, and it's put in a lovely jar, bottle, whatever,
Yeah.
and it's very special. So
Yeah.
I think we have to start this New Zealand. I know we're talking about buy NZ made, but it kind of sparked us off into the sustaining ourselves in
Yes.
independence, is it
Yeah.
not? This is what the point of it is. It's not just about it's great that we can in turn sustain other people, but we also sustaining ourselves. And I
Mm.
think that's a message that is a global message. It's not a
Mm.
message just for New Zealand,
No. No.
but it's a message for globally because firstly, for me, imported fruit, I find I don't buy imported fruit
Yep.
because it's dry, it's coming from a
Yeah.
place I don't really know. I want to eat New Zealand
Yes.
fruit,
Same.
right? I want to eat what's grown here.
Yeah.
But also, when you support what's locally grown, then you're supporting local farms, which is
Yes.
great. And I often say, because this is quite noticeable, stuff that's made in New Zealand, for example, clothes made in New Zealand is very expensive. But, what is the balance? The balance could be that you need, the more people are buying New Zealand made, the more, um, or it's easier because there's a demand for it. It's easier to make money for people to be sustaining, for the producers to be sustaining themselves, producers, creators, whatever they are, in whatever field that they are, creating in or producing in. And this is it. We can create that community here.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen from overseas. We've got to remember that.
No.
Community is about what's around you, really,
Yeah.
at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
I totally agree on all of that.
So
I mean,
you're encouraging this buy
yeah.
NZ made, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I can hear why. I
Yeah.
get it. I get why. I appreciate why, and I know there's a passion behind it.
Mm.
May those days return when we will be
Well,
self-sustaining.
it was only my generation behind me that were doing this. This is not something new at all.
No, it isn't.
It's
It
just,
isn't.
the last couple of generations have forgotten how to do it or
Yeah,
don't have the time to do it.
the
But
rat race is, and
yeah,
the
yeah,
pressures and the
yeah,
technology and all that, right?
yeah, it is. It's sad.
It
But
is, but I'm
we have
glad that it
choice.
hasn't. Sorry, carry on.
We have choices,
Yeah,
you know, and if your choice is to change the tide, then change the tide of your life.
yeah, I
Mm,
agree. I agree. And I know that somebody listening to this might say, but you don't know my life.
true.
This is true. because I would have said that to somebody who said that to
Yep.
me, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago, whatever. I cannot say that anymore.
Mm.
That you don't, I can say you don't know my life based on maybe a struggle I'm going through or whatever. But I, I can't use, now I'm at a stage in my life where I can't use, okay, not having a job as a reason for why I can't be, oh, sorry, having a job as a reason for why I can't be sustainable. It's like it cannot go out the door. My higher self, source energy doesn't allow that in my world
Yeah. Yeah.
because I've taken that journey to discover that more and more.
Mm.
So I think we're all on the journey, everyone, just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
And I hope that what we've said today about this sustaining oneself with what is local to you makes sense. Like I said to my daughter, I said, like, they've got some space outside in the back garden. They can put some veggie boxes there and plant for themselves what they need. Um, you know, uh, because, well, planted, not just because there's a war going on and all this stuff's going on about it, all the rumors are going on about it, but plant because maybe this is the way of life you need. You need, because we're better in better control, right, of what we're
Mm.
eating or what's going into our body when we know what we've used
Mm.
to plant the
Yeah.
vegetables and that, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you've got more control about what you're eating because you don't have to spray it. You can actually pick the bugs off. You don't have to put nasty sprays on anything. You can keep it as organic as possible. In fact, the
Yeah.
more healthier the soil is, the more healthier the plant is, and the more that healthier the plant is, it will actually reject the insects.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it's
Thanks for
it's a
explaining
known
it like
fact.
that.
Yeah, it's a
Wow.
known fact that the healthy we are, the more we actually reject any viruses or bacteria as well. Same thing. We're all
Mm.
biology, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
We're
I
all
think,
biology.
people that say, "Oh, I don't have time for that." Well, okay, they might not have time or the space especially if they live in an apartment, but they can choose to buy organic and seasonal.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, I feel like no longer can we say we don't have time. We don't have time for that, which is good for us. Is well, I don't know, it's a cop out really, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just an excuse, an empty excuse, really, because we can grow micro vegetables in a small space.
That's right.
A lot of hydroponics is grown in a very small space.
That's right.
Microgreens, very small space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're encouraging that, and also it will be probably cheaper to live
Yeah.
because I mean, I've said it before, but the food we buy is highly questionable. The quality, the nutritional value, how it was grown, because and what does it do to your body?
Yeah.
Because sicknesses are rife for various reasons. Okay, but one of the things is food that has been grown with a lot of chemicals and stuff like that. That's one of the things that can happen, that has been spoken of, proven to be able to happen, is that can happen to a person.
Yeah.
Too many
It's
happens, but
it's not
okay.
just the chemicals that are put on the plants. My grandfather was a market gardener, but it's also the soil structure. The soil structure is so depleted now that
Mm,
there is very few microorganisms and micronutrients left in the soil, so they have to add them. But often those trace elements aren't there anymore,
mm,
like magnesium, for instance.
yeah,
And magnesium, we need magnesium. They're building
all the
blocks of
time.
our muscle. They're very
Yes,
important to us, and we need
very,
them.
very important. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you've got to take it. Now we take them in supplement form, but also the type of
yeah.
magnesium we take is so important, right? You
Yes.
can't just take any type of
No,
magnesium.
there's 10 different
So,
types.
yes. So, very important.
Yeah.
So, Is there anything else you want to say before we go?
Um, Challenge yourself about what you can buy. See if you can reuse, recycle, repurpose, buy New Zealand made, buy organic, grow
Grow
your
yourself.
own. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be
That,
surprised. We
yeah.
all did it in that shutdown period. And plant sales were, especially vegetable plant sales, were off the planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was working in that industry at that time.
Okay.
Mm,
Mm, mm.
yeah. So,
Freya,
yes.
anything else you want to say before we go?
Um, yeah, just be open. Keep yourself open. Listen. Imbibe what's around you, the energy around you, the people. Observe. Notice nature. Recognize it. Respect it. And love it.
Wonderful. Oh, I love that. That's perfect.
Thank
Especially
you.
nature,
Thank
especially
you.
that it's connected to our Gaia,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
and
definitely.
that's the thing. So important to remember that, the connection to Mother Earth at the end of the day,
Yeah.
and that we are all hers.
Yeah.
One doesn't have less value than the other.
No.
Everyone and everything is relative and relevant here on this planet at this time. Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
having
for,
me.
oh, thank you. I'm so glad that you decided to say yes to this.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, and I know that you're likely to come back if there is something new that we want to share with the audience. You'd be open to come back. Obviously, no, I'm not taking it for granted, but I know that you'd be open to coming back.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you so
Freya.
much.
Thank you so
So lovely
much.
to be here.
Yeah, great. Lovely to have you here. Well, friends, thank you so much for watching and for going with us to this point. And if you do um feel like it, please hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. There's a lot of good content on Ananda Rose that's from the past. A lot of things that were spoken of on the channel in the past is coming to the forefront now. So we've been a little bit ahead of our time in terms of stuff we've been putting out on the channel. So please do have a look and see what's available to you. And I'll catch you next time. Namaste, everyone. Bye.